ours and us stopping them. But it's always fun to go up against someone that is such a high talent, such a great player. Obviously what Ace did last night was ridiculously impressive. So I think our team's really juiced up, excited to play those guys.
At the 4, you could obviously draw some of that matchup, right? I guess how do you even go about trying to slow someone like that down?
No, yeah, just you got to try to limit his catches, and just be physical, follow the scouting report, and just be ready to sit down. Obviously, he's going to hit some tough shots, but you can't get frustrated. You just got to limit him as much as you can.
The fact that they're both freshmen, does that factor into, I guess, your wanting to slow them down? I don't want to say put them in their place, but you're a veteran player.
No, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
that's fine.
I don't think that's ever crossed my mind, but I think honestly the biggest thing is just trying to limit them as much as possible, try to let some other guys beat us, and just come out of the rack with a dub, to be completely honest with you.
What do you tell your teammates about playing there? It's kind of unique.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like no one ever really talks about it. They talk about Breslin, Mackey, Assembly, but that place is right up there with just straight up noise comes right down. Tough place to play, but we've talked about it. I don't think after last Friday we're taking any game on the road for granted or underestimating any environment. So we'll be ready to go.
Drew talked about the way Trey came in and was kind of accountable, saying, "Hey, I didn't play well."
Yeah.
What stood out to you about that? Your point guard coming up to the team and doing that?
I mean, it started in film. I think literally the next day he was at the start of the film session. He took accountability, and I think that a lot of guys really respected that. And he showed it in practice the 2 days before Penn State, and obviously his play against Penn State showed it. He played one of his best games of the season. So for him to be able to have that accountability, and hopefully we just continue. We don't have to have those games where we have to have a bounce back. That's just kind of gradual steps forward.
Ideally, there, like you just said, there doesn't have to be another one of those. But can there be? Clayton asked a good question earlier. I mean, do you sometimes need to just get punched one time?
No, yeah. I mean, you see even Tennessee and Florida, like when those guys play, Tennessee's #1 in the country and they get beat by 30. I don't think it's obviously you don't want to have those games, but I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing, especially when you need that wake up call. I know we had already. We didn't lose in that fashion, but I think we kind of viewed our Wake Forest game as kind of a wake up call as well, just from a physicality standpoint. And then obviously we went down to Florida, played really physical, played well. I feel like we did a pretty good job against Penn State. Probably still could have been a little bit better on the defensive glass, but I think we stuck with it. Never got rattled. I feel like we always had the look in our eye this is gonna be okay, and came out with a gritty win. So yeah.
Do you like gritty wins more than the blowouts?
No, I'm
just happy for the blowout.
I'll take any win, man. As long as it's in the left column, I don't care how we get there. There's no such thing as a bad win, but there's such thing as a bad loss. So as long as we get the dub.
Go ahead.
Dusty said teams are kind of playing you guys maybe more aggressively than even you see on film before.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to continue to come maybe until the results are a little bit different. How do you play against that, I guess?
You got to match it. You got to match the physicality, and I think that's going to be a big thing. I think Rutgers has got some scrappy dudes who are Jeremiah Williams, like scrappy dude. So I think we're going to really be able to see that level of physicality again on Saturday, and just continue to develop it. A lot I think Namari and I are Namari, Rod, and I are the only ones who have really played a full season in the Big Ten. So to kind of be able to, see that level of physicality night in, night out is big for a lot of our players. And I think they're starting to kind of get used to it and realize. I know Vlad turned to me and he's like, "Man, you weren't joking when you said you were getting me ready and you were hacking me in practice every day," because that is literally what everyone does. So I think we're starting to settle in and get used to it, and hopefully we can keep developing our toughness.
This will be the 10th conference game, so halfway through. If you don't mind, kind of bigger picture where you feel you guys are at. And
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone knows our front end of the Big Ten schedule was maybe, not as strong as our back half. So, we've got some big, on the road. If you really want to look at it from the stance, like quad one games coming up. So, we got to just stay ready and, stay hungry and, not settle for where we are.
Is the fact that, you're still near the top of the Big Ten standings and a regular season title is certainly still a possibility on your mind at all?
No, yeah, I think everyone on our team kind of has that in the back of their head. But, Coach May always says we got to, fall in love with the process, and then we'll look up at the end of March and we'll be like, oh, shit, we got to beat Michigan State to, win the Big Ten championship. So, yep.
Just back to
go ahead.
Sorry, just back to that. You were talking about playing more aggressive. I mean, when you go into a game against Rutgers and they're not saying like, "Hey, you gotta match them like talent for talent," but they're just saying like physically. Like, is that almost like questioning like you're like challenging your manhood more to just have to do it physically versus skill to skill?
I mean, I think like across the board, when you match us up with anyone in the Big Ten, obviously they have two ridiculously talented freshmen. That I think you line us up, however deep we go, 9 for 9 on their team. We're going to be extremely talented against every team we play this year. I think the only thing that's holding us back is our sense of aggression, sense of physicality, and I think I guess it's from player to player whether that's kind of questioning your manhood, but it really just comes down to a mindset and great effort.
Dusty, after games, he'll talk about the guys who had the most points, but he seems to go out of his way to mention. I mean, last game it was you, a couple offensive rebounds you had, or Reuben Jones sometimes. Like, is that something you notice? Does that happen in practice too? That he's
we're always talking about doing those little intangibles to set up for other plays, whether it's a screen assist or other things like that. A hockey assist, great movement, Namari being like the cutter he is, being able to cut and get guys open shots. We definitely value little intangible things that go into winning.
Sweet. We'll grab it. Thanks, Will. Appreciate it.